Most Wanted eSports. This is a name most people would recognize. They're a big sponsor. They've had Smite teams in the console league. But this team you would recognize more or less under the name Aquaman and the Waves, a team that seemed to show up out of nowhere in the Challenges Cup and has made it all the way to the finals. Aquarius, the solo laner for Aquaman and the Waves, was playing on relegation rejects prior to week 3 of the Challenges Cup. However, finding himself in need of a team in week 3, formed one, and found themselves going up against his former teammates on relegation rejects. They made it to round 3 the first week they played together. Once they encountered relegation rejects, though, they were not able to best that team and ultimately found themselves getting knocked out of the bracket 3 rounds in. Coming in as the 7th seed for week 4, they were actually able to once again find themselves against relegation rejects, and this time we see them best relegation rejects move on to the semifinals and ultimately push their way into the finals matchup. Now, this will be the only time that we get to see these two teams play until Sunday against each other, and at the time, Astral Authority, formerly known as Salsa Squadron, was able to take this one in a decisive 2-0 victory over Most Wanted. Thanks to their seeding, Most Wanted would find themselves in the round-robin Group B stage for the tournament, and that would put them up against the other teams of Team Way, Circuit eSports NA, and Poseidon eSports. While Poseidon eSports proved to be a relatively easy match for them, we would see Team Way and Circuit eSports give a little bit of a hiccup for Aquaman and the Waves, but ultimately Aquaman and the Waves would find themselves sitting at a very prestigious 3-0 win-loss for the first week. Looking to replicate their score from the previous week, Aquaman and the Waves came into this set, and this time had the most trouble with Circuit eSports NA, both finding themselves at 2-0 into the last match of the day, but ultimately, Aquaman and the Waves were able to take this one and put themselves in the semifinals. Coming in as the 2nd seed overall in the Challenges Cup, we would see Aquaman and the Waves find themselves once again against relegation rejects. So far, the teams were 1-1 against each other, and at this point, it looked like it could be anyone's game. Game 1 going to relegation rejects, Aquaman and the Waves were able to return Game 2, and the same thing happened with Games 3 and 4, both able to find themselves at a 2-2 matchup in this, pushing it to a Game 5. 44 minutes of gameplay. Relegation rejects seemed like there was no way they were going to lose this matchup. For 44 minutes, relegation rejects controlled every objective, they controlled the gold, they controlled the experience, and they controlled every team fight that they could. In a brilliant defense by Aquaman and the Waves, they were able to turn one team fight around, push themselves down the middle lane, and ultimately take the Titan and secure their spot in the finals. At this point, they're looking up against Astral Authority, previously known as Salsa Squadron, to try and find themselves a spot in the gauntlet. Unfortunately for them, Astral Authority has the favor coming into this matchup as they were able to take this in a 2-0 set before. However, Aquaman and the Waves have improved drastically since week 4 and are looking to take this one and push themselves into the gauntlet.